Hello, I'm Mary Valenides, and I'm going to share with you the 5th grade, 4th 6 weeks mathematics curriculum preview. The big ideas for this 6 weeks is finish multiplying and dividing unit fractions and whole numbers. We're going to be talking about 2D geometry, perimeter and area, volume, and measurement. This is what our scope and sequence looks like for this 6 weeks. Notice that everything this 6 weeks needs to be mastered, except for converting units of measure. So, Unit 6, we're going to finish it with only 7 days, and we're going to end the third 6 weeks with multiplying a fraction by a whole number, which is going to then take us into representing division of a unit fraction by a whole number, or a whole number by a unit fraction. Notice, since we're representing this text, it does not mean it will solve. Instead, it's going to be using objects and pictorial models, such as area models. So it may look like this, which is using fraction tiles, or it could be using an area model, or it could be using a number line as it did in 2016 STAR. And notice this was our second lowest item. So be sure that we are focusing on representing and making sure the kids understand dividing a whole number by a fraction or a unit fraction by a whole number conceptually. This is the main idea of this particular text. So then we'll go into 5.3L, where we will actually be dividing whole numbers by unit fractions and unit fractions by whole numbers. So at 5.3L is when we actually start solving. So look at this item. This was the 4th lowest item that we had on STAR. And notice on this particular item that it was a griddable response item. We had this particular item as well, and it was our 14th lowest scoring item. 5.3I, again, is talking about representing, but also solving. And this is with multiplication of a whole number and a fraction. But again, we're using objects and pictorial models. So on STAR, we had 5.3I tested on item number 50. There are many resources available for you. Please refer to your pacing guide for these resources, and that will be all for that unit. Then we're going to be going into two-dimensional figures with Module 11, and with two-dimensional figures, the main text is 5.5, and here we're going to be classifying only 2D figures, not 3D, and we're going to be using a hierarchy of sets and subset sets using graphic organizers. Notice graphic organizers is what is the main part of this particular item, and it's going to be based on attributes and properties. So on STAR, we had a table showing different 2D figures, and notice it says which shape was not classified correctly. Then we had another set of tables, and this time they were the answer choices. And we also had a STAR release sample item the year before, and again, notice it says which shapes appear to be classified correctly. Only in geometry do we have 2 possible answers that could be in your choices. There is one activity you can do is one similar to this, where the kids you provide them with different types of 2D figures, and they list the attributes or sort them and list the differences. They can either put these in a graphic organizer or in a table. So a graphic organizer such as this, or even a table, as we saw in the STAR items. This particular activity that you're seeing now is also available in Eduphoria. Then we're going to go into perimeter and area for just a couple of days, and that is covering text 5.4H. Again, we are representing and solving problems related to perimeter and/or area and related to volume. Here, the kids still may have to be able to measure lengths. So if you notice on 5.4H, you had to use your reference chart to be able to measure for these lengths. So make sure you're using reference charts in your classroom. This was our lowest scoring item, and notice it was a multi-choice item, but we were using the side lengths as well. So make sure the kids are labeling the side lengths when they have an item similar to this, because they may be seeing one similar to that again. 5.4B is representing and solving multi-step problems. Notice this one will be using whole numbers, not decimals or fractions, and we are possibly going to have equations with the letter standing for an unknown quantity. So our third highest scoring item, we actually did very well on this particular text. You can see that number 14 was our highest score, one of our highest ones, then 30, and number 41, which was our fourth highest. So we did really well on 5.4b. Volume is the next concept that you'll be teaching, and notice we'll be learning volume conceptually for 5 days. Now remember, the fourth graders that are coming to you now as fifth graders did not talk about volume last year at all. So you're introducing volume to the kids as well as mastering it to the form of applying formulas. So we'll start with 5.6a, where they recognize a cube with a side length of 1 unit and the volume of three-dimensional figures as a number of unit cubes. Now, you can use your manipulatives of those wooden cubes that you should have received a couple of years ago. Also, on volume, we will be noticing that we have 1 centimeter cube and how it relates to volume, on how many cubic units would the volume of this figure be. Now notice we'll start with showing those cubic units, and then we'll go ahead and easily go into having volume with just showing the side lengths, not showing the different units. There is a Khan Academy video available for you to see, as well as looking at our past star items. This was our lowest, one of our lowest scoring items, our 10th lowest. And then we'll go into volume 5.6b, where we will move away from conceptually learning it to using now the formulas. We had item number 12, and the kids did fairly well on this one, and notice it was a griddable response item. Then we'll finish module 9 with 5.4g, and here the kids are going to be developing those formulas using concrete objects and pictorial models. Now, one thing to remember is 5.4g is not assessed on STAR, but it is something the kids should still learn. Then we'll go into 5.4b, where the kids will be representing and solving multi-step problems. And notice here we will go more into the abstract form of volume, where the kids will just be having the numbers with possibly a missing side and having to determine what the volume is. So they had to know 5.4g about formulas to be able to do this. 5.4b was, the kids did fairly well on it. It had the third highest scoring item as well as the fourth highest scoring item on STAR. And then they did well on number 30 as well. Here is a sample item that was released the year prior on 5.4b. Then we're going to finish Module 9 with representing and solving problems related to perimeter in our area and related to volume. We have there's a Khan Academy, a couple of Khan Academy videos available for you to share with the kids, and here's a STAR item that shows how it has been tested. Also, lesson 9.4, the real world problem, actually reaches the rigor of text 5.4h the best. And here's a STAR release sample item that we have available. Again, check your resources in the pacing guide for more activities. From there, we're going to begin converting units of measure. We'll begin Unit 8, and we'll have 9 days with this particular unit. Here you're going to be solving problems by calculating conversions within a measurement system, and it could be customary or metric. On 5.7 in 4th grade, we had the relationships only to a table. But in 5th grade, the kids may or may not have tables and go straight to straight calculations. So make sure you practice using the following conversions that are available on your STAR reference sheet. So the kids may use it as in form of a table. You might want to make sure they understand how to use a process column to help them understand how to fill out that table. It could be going from meters to centimeters. It could be, again, customary or metric units. On STAR 5.7, we did have item number 7 where the kids did have to convert from centimeters to millimeters. And one thing that they could have done is use UPS check to help them with this particular item. Notice as the links of 2 and 6 are given below, What is the difference in length of these two insects in millimeters? So what do the kids need to know? What is it they need to find? They need to find the difference of the two insects in millimeters. So they will have to, in their plan, convert 30 centimeters to millimeters, and then they'll have to find the difference between the two. When they convert, they know that to estimate they're going from a big unit to a smaller unit, so their number will have to be more than 30. Then after that they'll solve, and then they'll check by going back and making sure that they did their work correctly. There are some new things in Eduphoria for you for UPS Check. There are some reminder questions that the kids can cut up and put in their journal or on their desk. There's also student interview cards that you can go ahead and run off and put a little ring on them if you would like, so that the kids can interview each other and make sure they followed all the steps. There's also some scripts available to help you as a teacher know what types of questions to ask. There's questions such as 27 minus 8 that's available, and more rigorous questions as well, with multiplication of 3-digit numbers and so on. We also have B. Luchin modeling UPS Check. She did model for 3rd grade at Major Cheney with a graphic, and then 4th grade at O.H. Stowe with just a problem without a graphic. The vocabulary for the 6 weeks, you will be reviewing the words in blue, and you have a few words that are brand new for the kids, and they're the ones in black. Here's a couple of activities: word wall sort and word wall snap. This is what our calendar will look like for the 6 weeks. Notice that there are 2 days that the kids will not be in school, so you will only have 28 days for this 6 weeks, and one of those days will be providing the middle of the year universal screener. So as you prepare for the 6 weeks, we'll only have 15 instructional days before you'll have a Math CBA and a spring break, and then you'll have the START test. So I know you're going to do a great job preparing our kids and making sure they know all these activities. After this PowerPoint, if there's any slides you want to go back and look at, the PowerPoint will be available to you. Thank you for listening with me. Have a great day.